Hey y'all, Fat Man Outdoors. Hey, if you like the video, click that like button and click subscribe so that you'll get notifications whenever we post new content. Appreciate you watching. This is the Fat Man. I'm gone. Hey y'all, Fat Man Outdoors. Today I want to make a little quick video. I'm going to try to make it quick. A couple of my last ones haven't been too short, but going to try to work this down. I want to touch on a subject if you're deer hunting, and this is the time of year for it to be going on. It's mid-November. I want to talk about knives for after you've killed a deer. Now, a lot of guys pack a lot of different kind of knives. There's a huge school of thought on what you need, what you don't need. I just want to give you a brief overview of some of the knives that I have here, and I'll show you the one that I carry when I go into the woods. I want to start off with, this is a knife made by a company called Chippewa Cutlery. Now this little knife is a high carbon steel knife. This thing will hold an edge like crazy. I like it because it has the fat point. It doesn't have a real elongated point on it, so if you're going to gut a deer with this and you're going to do your two-finger thing and unzip him, this knife works really well for this. And this high carbon steel holds an edge like crazy, man. I mean, this thing, it will absolutely get so sharp it's almost unsafe to touch it. This knife wasn't very expensive. It was relatively cheap. It was about $24, and it was purchased at a sporting goods store. So it shouldn't be too hard to find. You can probably find them online. Again, the company is called Chippewa Cutlery. Comes with a real nice holster, real thick holster, heavy built holster, and it's got the quick thumb release on the holster for when you're going to open it. You don't got to pull it around from the handle. It locks it down real good, and if you need to get into the knife quick, you can get into it pretty quick. But it's a real handy knife for skinning and also for gutting and preparing your deer field dress to pull him out of the woods. That's one. Now, this is another thing that I really like right here. If you notice the color of the handles on these knives, they're blaze orange. Reason being is, and this has happened to me, I have a tendency not to get buck fever till after the deer's on the ground. So what I have is a problem with, I'll get doing something with that deer, gutting him, getting him ready to bring out, and I'll lay my knife down and it's gone. I can't find it. I'm spending 15, 20, 30 minutes, if I'm lucky and find it, and cleaning out a big area there where I was working before I finally work to find my knife. With these, it's a little bit better with these orange handles. But now the neat thing about this little set, and this set is made by a company called Outdoor Edge, and they're pretty good knives. They have a pretty good little amount of carbon in the blade, and the particular model of these is called Wild Cape. Now this is the skinning knife. It's got, again, that fat point. Doesn't have an elongated point like you'd see on a filleting knife or maybe on a butcher's knife. But it's got a nice round point on it, and it's got high carbon blade. This thing will shave you, man. I mean, it'll knock the hair off. But what I like about this is it's got the guard on the front it's a little bit deeper coming off the handle. You can see that to grip it, but it's silicone handle, so it's really grippy. But in case that your finger was to slip off, you don't immediately hit blade. You've got another place here right at the front of the blade that's been cut out so that you won't hit blade if your finger slides off. But also, if you need to get in there and you need to have something where you can grip the knife a little far forward, put more pressure on it, you know, if you're cutting his esophagus or windpipe, stuff like that, and it's long enough to do everything you need to do. Even, you know, it's what you got to do at the back end of the deer. It's still long enough to do that. You only need about a 2.5, 3 inch blade to do that. This knife will do that wonderfully. Now what I like is the other knife that's in this. And this knife also, again, has that nice big round point, so you ain't got that elongated point to take a chance when you're gutting your deer of poking through his stomach or poking through something you don't want to get on the meat. But it's got a really nice gut hook. You can see that gut hook, and what that does, you just start a little cut right below his chest plate where his ribs end, and you can put that in there and hook his skin and just hold your fingers to keep the guts pushed down as you pull it, and you can just unzip him like unzipping a zipper on a coat or on your pants, and that makes the job so much easier, so much cleaner, and a whole lot safer about not getting stuff on your meat that you don't want ruined. It does also have that real good grip, silicone grip, real sticky grip to it. But now this one you have to kind of watch, because you do hit a really sharp blade as soon as you pop over the hilt on that knife. And it will cut you. I mean, cut you quick. These are really good knives. Again, this is made by a company called Outdoor Edge. It's the Wild Skin is this one, and this one is the Wild Cape. Okay, but they come in a set. They were bought at Walmart. I think this set was, I'm wanting to think, was $15.88. They weren't very expensive at all. I have skinned a lot of deers with these two little knives. They do really well. Now it is kind of cumbersome to carry something this big, and you got to put it on your belt. And if you got stuff already, then you know, if you're bow hunting, I don't really think that would be something that would be good for you. But if you're a rifle hunter and you're going somewhere to a stand, and you're going to be packing a backpack more than likely, or just like I say, put it on your belt. It's not heavy. It's really light. But that's another really good selection for knives for gutting and skinning your deer. Now, if you're a bow hunter, a lot of bow hunters, they want to keep everything as light, as small, and as simple as they can to get everything that they need in one package if possible. And I know a lot of people don't look at it this way, but guys, utility knives are something that really does well for bow hunters, because it gives you all kinds of stuff. It gives you a ton of tools. And with this little knife in particular, and it's made by KVD, this is not a buy it at the dollar store utility knife. This thing, they got good steel blades. They got carbon steel blades in them. They take a real good edge. They cut well. This one's got a really big saw in it, a long saw. Let me see if I can get it pulled up here. It's got a long bone saw in it. You can see that. Thing's probably 3.5 inches long. The blade in this steel is going to be plenty long enough for you to do anything you got to do at the back of the deer. The only thing you got to worry about, these are metal handles or aluminum handles. Your hands gets bloody, get stuff on you, it's going to be slick, so you have to be careful. But for a bow hunter, something like this, they've even got a couple little Allen wrench sizes down in this thing. Got a 4-way screwdriver, flat screwdriver. It even has a measuring device that you can unfold, and it'll unfold out to, I believe it's 6 inches, I think is what it'll do in this one. As you can see, it folds all the way out where you can measure. I don't know that you'd need to have that for any kind of deer hunting thing, but it's pretty handy to have. I like it the way it's set up. But like I say, this knife, it's made by KVD. It's sold at Walmart. This knife was about $9 or $10, and if you're just looking for something to put in your backpack, to have a knife that you can gut a field dress a deer and bring him out and not have to pack a whole lot of stuff, and have a lot of stuff in a small little package when this is closed up. It's got a nice little sheath that goes in that's not real loud, it's not real scratchy, it's pretty soft. It'll go right on your belt, and you've got a ton of stuff in one little small package that you can use. Alright, now here is the one thing, everybody's got one of these, okay? I call these grandpa knives, and you see a lot of them around this time of year, people packing them, and it's the only time they ever come out. Nobody uses them for anything else. They keep them in their gun cabinet or put away somewhere, and that is an old handmade knife. A lot of times they're made out of pieces of metal that was never meant to be a knife. This particular one is made from a car spring, or a pickup truck spring, actually what it's made from. And then the handle is from a small mule deer that they found on the side of the road that had been hit, and they harvested the little antlers off of him. This knife was made by a gentleman in Nebraska and gave to my daughter when she was born. So it's her knife that she'll use when she gets old enough to go deer hunting, which won't be maybe another year or so, and when she has to learn to do it. Now, the one thing I do have a drawback for this is this has a very long point. As you can see, it's not got a rounded point, so it'll be great for skinning a deer. I'm not so much into field dressing a deer with something like this, because that long point, it's hard to track it when you're inside there and you can't see what you're doing, and you can make a mistake. But it is a really good knife, man. This thing will get razor sharp in just a second. It holds the edge really well, and it's just it's a hand-me-down knife. It's an heirloom thing, and maybe someday she can give this knife to her son or her daughter and take them into the woods and teach them how to hunt and show them how to field dress a deer, and hopefully they'll use this little knife to do it with. But it comes with a little handmade case that he made for it, and it's made from real good leather. Out there, they're close to a lot of feedlots, and they get a lot of cow skin in that area that are young cows that haven't made it, and they tan that leather, and it's real supple and real soft, and it has a really different color to it without putting anything on it. It has a really tan color to it, and there's nothing put on them. So I really like the way that little knife looks, but that's something, everybody's got one. I call them grandpa knife. That's what they are. Now, I'm going to show you real quick the knife that I pack. And guys, you see people that are packing knives they put a lot of money into for deer hunting, and you really don't need that. Every year around this time, and especially around Christmas, stores like Walmart, Home Depot, even Lowe's will put out big displays that's got a lot of pretty good knives at a really good price that you can get to do the work that you need to do. Well, I picked this one up, and Walmart had it on sale for right before Christmas for, I want to think it's like $14, and it's a Winchester. What the knife is a Winchester. Now, it's high carbon steel. This thing will take a super edge as well. Now, it does have a pretty quick point on it. It's got the rounded point. It's not an elongated point. It's a little bit longer than some, but not too bad. It is a lock blade. Okay, but the cool thing about this knife, that's one blade. Then, what I have is, on the other side, I have a super strong bone saw. And I mean, you look at the thickness of that bone saw, man, you could do some really good work that you needed to get done with that particular one. But what I really like about this deal, and this is, again, another knife that bow hunters would probably really enjoy because it's a small package and got a lot of stuff in it. This knife also comes with a really good gut hook. And the cool thing about this gut hook is there's no edge back here behind it. And there's no edge up here on top of the gut hook. You don't have to worry about making a mistake when you're unzipping that deer. The only part of this that's got the edge on it is inside that gut hook. And once you get into the skin on that animal and start unzipping him, you're not going to have no issues. You're not going to have to worry about cutting anything. It's a grade A little knife. And again, like I say, I'm the kind of person that I get the buck fever after I see the deer laying on the ground. As y'all could see in the video when I killed the big boy, yeah, I got happy quick. Y'all, I'm so excited. Thank you, Jesus. Praise God. I have just nailed a monster buck. We're gonna go over and get old Greeny. I'm out of breath. Yeah! So, when you're like that, a lot of times it's easy to make a mistake. And I don't want to make a mistake if I don't have to. But what I want to do is, I want to have something that's a handy tool to do everything that I'm trying to get done and not be bulky and hard to carry. A lot of guys don't like fold-up knives. I like this one because, like I said, it's the total package, and it's very cheap. And it's got a good handle on it. It's got a very deep cut back in it, so that when you're gripping that knife, you can hold it. You've got good potential to hang on to it and not slide down the knife. And again, you don't have to worry about while you're working with this. You don't have an edge to worry about. So if your hand leaves or you slip, chances are you ain't even going to get a paper cut out of this because you can't get your finger up in where that edge is in there. And that's the only place it's sharp, is up in it. So, you know, and then, like I said, and then when you need to do skinning work, or if you're going to process your deer when you get him home, or whatever you might need to do, you got a really good strong carbon blade to work on him. You got a good saw in there if you need to saw bone, or if you need to do something else like that you'd use a saw for. Super little knife, and it was pretty cheap. I can't remember exactly 100% what I paid for it at Walmart, but it wasn't very much. And it came with its own little nylon sheath when I got it, but I don't carry it in that, because whenever I go into the woods hunting, because we got so many predatory animals around here, I always carry a sidearm. I always carry my 9mm with me whenever I go in the woods. So I had a pouch here, a tactical pouch that's made to hold 2 9mm or 2 automatic pistol clips or magazines. Sorry about I said the C word. Don't y'all freak out on me. So I put the knife in one side, got the knife right here in one side, and then on the other side I have a spare magazine for my CZ 9mm. And that way if something bad happens and something decides it wants to bother me, or I need to defend myself from whatever, I got at least another 16 rounds after I get rid of the first 17. So we'd go from there. But anyway, guys, that's just real quick. I wanted to make a little short video and talk to you briefly about knives. Get out and hunt. Right now's the time. The deers are moving. There's going to be a lot of wind coming up now because I'm in Kentucky and the weather is changing. It's going to start getting cooled off. Whenever that happens, you have that little magical spot. It'll happen 3 or 4 days in a row where it's going to be real windy. And good big deers don't want to lay down when it's doing that. They want to get up and move because they can't trust their sense of hearing or their sense of smell when that wind's blowing a lot. So they get up and they move and they walk these field edges so they can keep an eye on things and make sure nobody or nothing's around that's going to bother them. Y'all get out there and get you some meat for the freezer or even for the jerky dehydrator. It's all good. Hope y'all enjoyed this video. Catch you later. It's the Fat Man. I'm gone.